So, our lecture for today is entitled Gusto kong matulog pero di ko magawa. The importance of sleep health and well-being in a person. So, this is my disclaimer. And the objectives for this morning's lecture are as follows. Number one, to raise awareness about the importance of sleep and its impact on overall health, identify common sleep disorders and its symptoms, provide practical tips and strategies to improve sleep quality, discuss the role of lifestyle, environment, and psychological factors in sleep health, and to encourage everyone to seek professional help if needed. So actually, good sleep quality is a well-recognized predictor of physical and mental health, wellness, and overall vitality. A person is said to be at its peak of his or her vitality when they are on top of things, efficiently combining their self-care, family, and social responsibilities, yet they are healthy and capable and still energetic. Only then can one function at optimal when sleep is of good quality. Marami pong definition kung ano ang tulog. There are some that say that it is a neurological state, an intermediate state between wakefulness and death. Pero simplehan po natin, it is reversible. It is a reversible state of perceptual disengagement and unresponsiveness to the environment. Ano po ba ang characteristic ng sleep? Technically, the characteristics of sleep encompass all living beings. Activity is reduced, stimuli response is decreased, it is reversible, recurrent, paulit-ulit, at spontaneous, hindi siya napipilit. In humans, the typical posture is recumbent, nakahiga po, mostly on our back, and the eyes are closed, nakapikit po tayo. It is different from other species where they are upright and their eyes are open. Example po nito yung mga kabayo, zebras, elephant, because standing in their sleep allows them to escape predators even during sleep. So ano po ba ang functions ng pagtulog? Una po sa lahat, sleep is restorative. It is the most accepted explanation for why we sleep. Sleep restores tissues and prepares our bodies for the next day. This may involve cleaning accumulated neurotransmitters, yung mga chemicals po natin sa brain, as well as other tissue repairs that occur all throughout the body. Pangalawa po is energy conservation. We sleep to conserve energy. So, in a sense, we are able to spend our time functioning at a lower metabolism. Excuse me. Our overall caloric needs are reduced. So, example, awake tayo the whole time, kain ng kain, we may not have enough food to survive. So, it allows time to create glycogen also, which is an energy store that is used by the brain as a fuel. Pangatlo po is to regulate immune function. Specifically, yung cytokines, these are a type of protein that act as primary messengers ng immune system. They send signals throughout the body to orchestrate immune responses. They turn on or turn off defense systems and promote also different stages ng sleep. So they are produced during sleep, and during sleep, it is crucial for us to get shut-eye, especially when we are sick. Pang-apat po is memory consolidation. So basically, when we encounter or experience something important, an area of our brain called the hippocampus becomes active and works to hold that event in your short-term memory. So in order for those short-term memories to become long-term, at hindi mo na sila agad malilimutan, the brain needs to consolidate the information and store it outside of the hippocampus. So when we sleep, our brain downscales the unimportant activity, irrelevant synapses, and upscales or increases activity of those important synapses. Maalala ko po ito nung college po ako. Madalas tinatanong ng mga kaklase kasi yung mga nagpuyat para mag-review, mas hindi nakasagot kumpara dun sa mga maganda ang tulog. Ito po ay dahil sa memory consolidation. Number 5, without healthy sleep, including both the NREM and REM stages po ng pagtulog, negative emotional reactivity seems to be significantly enhanced. So, dito po tulad po nung sinabi ni Professor, lokohin mo na ang laseng, wag lang ang bagong gising. This is because the positive reactions to positive events are often increased when we lack sleep. Lastly is protective. Ongoing sleep deficiency, yung kakulangan po sa pagtulog, is linked to an increased risk of heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke. Sa ibang species, yung safety dun sa mga nag-hibernate, hindi sila nakikita ng ibang predators. Ano ba ang stages po ng sleep? 2 states. Meron pong 2 states ang pagtulog. Yun po ay ang REM at saka NREM. REM, ibig sabihin, rapid eye movement stage, at saka NREM, non-rapid eye movement stage. So, yung sa libro po, ang NREM ay nahati po sa 3. Dati po 4. So, stage N1, N2, N3, and N4. Ngayon po, na isama na po yung N3 at N4, these are the deeper stages of sleep. Sa libro, ang N3 na stage mas associated sa dreams natin na in accordance to reality. Halimbawa po na naginip kayo na gigising sa umaga, papasok, sasakay sa jeep, papasok sa opisina. Yung REM na mga panaginip po, ayon sa libro natin, naka-associated sa mga panaginip na bizarre. Tatalon ng bundok, 3 bundok, nakikipaglaban sa war, mga ganun po. Ito po ay isang hypnogram. A hypnogram is a graphical presentation of the sleep stages. So, normal sleep progresses in a series of 4 or 5 sleep cycles. Ngayon, ano po ba ang requirements para masarap ang tulog? The requirements for good sleep include, number 1, adequate amount of sleep. Number 2, correct timing of sleep. And number 3, good quality of sleep. So, how much sleep do we actually need? How much is enough sleep? The National Sleep Foundation is one of the pioneers for sleep science and sleep health. They recommend the following number of hours for individuals to sleep. So, as we see here in this chart, adults aged 18 to 64, malamang nandun po tayo sa age group na yun, are still advised to have 7 to 9 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period. However, let me remind you that quality supersedes quantity. And finally, for the sleep to be good, it has to occur at the right time. Pero ano po ba ang tamang oras? 9, 10, or 11? So to understand this, I will introduce you a little to the mechanisms that maintain our sleep-wake cycle. So our sleep-wake cycle consists roughly of 8 hours of nighttime sleep and 16 hours of daytime wakefulness. Gaya po ng lagi kong sinasabi, si Lord ginawa po tayong matulog sa gabi at gising sa umaga. Kasi sa umaga, nandun po yung araw. Sa gabi, nandun yung moon, mas dim siya. Pero sleep is controlled by 2 internal influences, which is sleep homeostasis and circadian rhythm. Okay? So circadian rhythm po is a system that describes our brain's natural sleep-wake schedule. Siya po yung ating internal clock. So this figure that we have here shows everyone that everyone experiences natural dips in alertness, medyo inaantok sa mga ibang oras, at increased wakefulness during certain times in a 24-hour period. It is also the circadian rhythm that dictates our natural bedtime and morning wake up schedule. So once you get used to going to bed and wake up at the same time each morning, nag-a-adapt po yung brain natin sa schedule na to. Unfortunately, we live in a 24/7 world. For this, we don't have to look very far. We ourselves are examples, di ba po? Kaya ngayon po uso yung tagline na sleep is for the weak. O kaya sometimes you also have the YOLO attitude, you only live once. May mga kaibigan nga po ako sinasabi na try not to spend too much time sleeping. Kasi when we die, we have more than enough time to sleep. That is why the trend today, we do everything today, even those things that can be done tomorrow. So as a consequence, we lose sleep. However, knowing now how important sleep is and its benefits, maybe it's time if we ask ourselves, is it really worth losing sleep? Diyan na po papasok ang sleep medicine. Ang sleep medicine po ay isang relatively new dito po sa bansa natin na specialty. It is a medical specialty focused on optimizing health and diagnosing and treating sleep disorders and other sleep-related concerns. Meron po siyang iba-ibang scope. Ito po siya. So, isa-isahin po natin. Sleep-related breathing disorders. These are group of disorders characterized by abnormal respiration during sleep. Ang pinakasikat po sa grupong ito ay ang obstructive sleep apnea. Obstructive, ibig sabihin po may barado. Sleep, nangyayari siya pag natutulog. Apnea, there is cessation of breathing, tumitigil po huminga. Because it is when the muscles relax and block the upper airway. In the Philippines, it is known that it is approximated to be at 3.8 million Filipinos ang may OSA. Pangalawang grupo naman po ay yung central disorders of somnolence. This include yung mga lagi pong tulog ng tulog. So the most popular disorder in this classification is narcolepsy. Yun po yung may sudden bouts of sleep during the normal waking hours. Third group is the circadian rhythm disorders. These are a group of sleep disorders that are characterized by a maladaptive synchronization between a person's biological clock and the environmental 24-hour schedule. Most common po na nakikita natin nowadays are yung mga shift work disorder, yung mga kasamahan po natin sa BPO, kasi they work during non-traditional hours. Parasomnia is a sleep disorder that causes abnormal behavior during sleeping. They occur during any stage of sleep. Meron pong NREM-related at saka merong REM-related. NREM example po is yung confusional arousals. Yung mga anak po natin natutulog, tas biglang babangon na nakabuka yung mata, parang nagmamasid, pero pagka tinanong nyo po sa umaga, hindi naman po nila maalala. REM-related parasomnia, yung iba po, mga lolo't lola natin, habang natutulog, nire-reenact nila yung dreams nila. So, kung nasa World War II sila, minsan ang nagko-complain yung katabi po nila kasi nabubugbog sila paggabi. Sleep-related movement disorders, these involve physical movements which may be irresistible or involuntary. They occur during sleep or kahit pag periods of rest na. Kaya mas madalas they create insomnia at saka daytime fatigue sa ating patients. Pinakasikat po sa grupo na to ay yung restless leg syndrome, which is characterized by unpleasant sensation deep inside the legs. Insomnia po actually is the most common sleep disorder. Lahat po tayo malamang one time in our lives naka-experience na po isa sa mga type nito. This can be acute, where it occurs for less than 3 months, and chronic if more than that. So individuals who complain of insomnia reported to have repeated difficulty of initiating sleep, hindi makatulog, sleep onset insomnia, or remaining asleep, hindi ma-maintain yung tulog, or masyadong maagang magising compared to the usual, despite the adequate opportunity and condition and time for sleep. So, kapag kulang po ang tulog, it results in sleep deprivation. Ano po ba ang sleep deprivation? So, this term describes a state caused by inadequate quantity or quality of sleep which may be voluntary or involuntary. It is acute when sleep is curtailed for one or few nights and wake periods extend about 16 to 18 hours, whereas chronic sleep deprivation occurs through repeated sleep restriction. Acute, halimbawa, duty ka, hindi ka matutulog buong gabi, pero bukas pwede ka nang matulog. Chronic, yung mga patients na nililimitahan yung tulog gabi-gabi para ma-fulfill yung social family obligations. So, causes nito, tulad nung na-discuss po kanina, una ay sleep disorders. Yung mga sleep apnea, insomnia, and the like. Pangalawa, aging. People older than 65 years old have trouble sleeping because of aging, perhaps because of the medicines they are taking or other health problems that they have. Illnesses, marami po tayong psychiatric problems that cause sleep deprivation. Iba pang sakit na pwedeng magkakos nito, chronic pain syndrome, our patients with cancers, yung mga stroke, yung mga may Alzheimer's disease. Other reasons, including po stress, pwede pong hindi kayo makatulog pag very stressed kayo. May changes in schedule, panggabi ka, tapos ngayon pang umaga ka na agad, kailangan pang mag-adjust. Or kahit pagkakaroon ng bagong baby, pwedeng ma-disrupt yung usual na sleep schedule nyo po. Yung mga anak po natin, our children, mga pamangkin natin, are not exempted from sleep deprivation. Actually, inadequate total sleep time is the greatest challenge that we have sa mga bata. So, families tend to underestimate children's sleep need, and lack understanding of the relationship between inadequate sleep, behavioral and health, and even neurocognitive problems. So ngayon po, na-appreciate ko nung araw na pinapatulog ako nung lola ko sa hapon. Our children are exposed to the developments in technology. This gave them an increasing number of stimulation-seeking behaviors. They have access to movies, video games, social media. Pwede yan kahit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pangalawa, yung online classes na nauso pamula po nung pandemic has exposed our children to the white screen more than the allowable period during pandemic. Other causes of sleep deprivation, yung mga wake-promoting agents natin. Ang galing-galing po ng advertising, media, they have normalized consumption of wake-promoting agents tulad ng caffeine, mga ginseng, taurine, na nasa energy drinks. And these are increasingly utilized by children and adolescents to fend off their sleep. So, hindi lang tooth decay ang kalaban natin pagka mga ganito, but also obesity. It will all the more predispose them to experience insomnia, nervousness, irritability, and even an upset stomach. So, our children are also stressed. Nasa stress din po sila. So, they may become sleep deprived due to emotional factors such as stress, anxiety, and mood disorders din po. So, studies show that kids with ADHD are 4 times more likely to fall asleep quickly and stay in bed all night. So, kapag hindi po adequate yung tulog, ano po yung consequences? Ang pinaka-prominent po sa sleep deprivation is cognitive impairment. Yung mga sabaw na naman si doktora, mga ganun sila kapag puyat. There is impaired behavior, alertness, and vigilant attention. May isa po akong pamangkin, hihingi siya ng baon kapag from duty kami. Kasi alam niya po na impaired yung alertness namin. So, another study, sleep deprivation deteriorated recollection of both neutral and positive stimuli. Kaya po mainit ang ulo kapag hindi po tayo nakakatulog. When sleep deprived, the recollection of negative items, not positive items, elicited larger response in the amygdala and in the occipital area than when sleep is obtained. Pangatlo po, it may result in a powerful drive for sleep. So pag puyat ka, mas malakas yung propensity mong matulog. So, yun may not always be under the control of the individual. So, this drive allows for the sleep to intrude into wakefulness. Yung iba po habang nagdadrive, nakakatulog. Kahit for a few seconds, whenever there is lack of physical activity, katulad po ng driving. So, such lapses are referred to as microsleeps, which can result in serious or catastrophic consequences. So, during sleep deprivation, yung iba, yung halimbawa sa shift work or sa jet lag, sa mga may duty, sleep and wakefulness may become disconnected from their proper body temperature. So, kahit oras mo nang matulog, pag na-adjust yung tulog mo, more than the usual, hindi ka na makatulog agad kahit gustuhin mo pa. Such patients may be sleepy regardless of the prior quantity and quality of sleep. Excessive sleepiness is a common cause of car crashes and near misses and contribute to over half of all fatal truck crashes. So, occupational errors are also more common among individuals with sleep insufficiency. Higit sa lahat, yung quality of life po natin naaapektuhan pag pangit po yung tulog. So, they cut back on activities that we enjoy, kaya we do not have enough energy also to perform activities. Ano pa po ang pinaka-importante? Yung short sleep duration associated po siya sa variety of adverse cardiovascular outcomes. Noong 2016, inilabas po ng American Heart Association na sleep restriction is a risk factor for adverse cardiometabolic profiles and outcomes. So, mas maigi po na magkaroon ng healthy sleep behavior para magkaroon ng better cardiac health. Alagaan po natin yung mga puso natin. Along with other efforts para makontrol po yung BP, cholesterol, blood glucose levels, and the like. So, ito po napapansin natin sa mga college students natin. Pag exam week, mas madami pong sinisipon, sumisinghot-singhot po sila sa klase kasi nagpupuyat po mag-aral. Chronic sleep loss is associated with increase in inflammatory markers sa katawan natin and also with immunodeficiency. Others, sa mga bata, sleep restriction may have negative metabolic consequences such as the risk of obesity. Acute and chronic sleep loss also causes impairment in attention. Hindi sila makapag-participate ng maigi sa klase. They have low vigilance and very slow reaction time. Many studies have demonstrated that sleep restriction impairs children's ability to respond quickly and accurately on neurophysiological measures of attention. Iba pa po like adults, pag sa mga bata, sleep loss also impairs complex cognitive or executive function. Hindi na po nagiging maganda time management, decision making, organization, attention. Others, tulad nung sinabi ko po kanina na importance ng sleep, memory. So sleep is known to be an active process that is crucial for organizing and retaining salient information that we encounter day to day. Disrupted sleep is associated with overall decline of academic functioning. Akala natin minsan slow yung mga anak natin, slow yung mga bata, pero madalas po yan. And also, the impact of the level of emotional reactivity is associated with sleep deprivation. So the ability to regulate both positive and negative emotions and the ability to accurately assess emotional reactions in others is declined during sleep deprivation. So ngayong alam na po natin lahat ng mga yon, how do we get a good night's sleep? Marami pong healthy practices and tips for creating a conducive sleep environment. Una, sleep only as much as needed to feel refreshed during the following day. Dahil po pag in-extend natin yung sleep, extending sleep will only lead to a fragmented and shallow sleep. Mas maganda po i-restrict natin yung time in bed para maging consolidated, buo at diretso yung ating pong tulog. It is also proper that we stick to a sleep schedule. So we go to bed and get up from bed at the same time each day. Workday man po yan or holiday, Saturday or Sunday. This will help your body's sleep-wake cycle become more regulated. Recommended din po na if you cannot sleep within 20 minutes ng pagkahiga niyo po, you should leave your bedroom and do something relaxing. Tulad po ng reading physical books or listening to music until you become tired so that it will enable you to sleep again. Pangatlo po, pay attention to what you eat and drink also. The most obvious effect of the stimulant, ang pinakasikat po ngayon is coffee is life, is that it can make it hard for you to fall asleep. So marami na pong studies na nagpapakita na yung caffeine can delay the timing of your body clock. Also, it will reduce your total sleep time. Caffeine also can reduce the amount of deep sleep that you enjoy. Ito po ang main culprit na isa sa mga problema natin ngayon. So, we should also say goodnight to our devices. Our smartphones are the main culprit sa mga sleep problems natin ngayon. So, it is best for us to put off our devices or take a break from them before bedtime. Regular exercise in the morning deepens sleep, and exercising in the evening is stimulating and may lead to a delay in sleep onset. So, make sure that bedtime and morning wake-up time is around the same time each morning. So, this includes weekdays and weekends. Keeping our bedrooms cool, comfortable, and dark to encourage our children to sleep. So, the beds are for sleeping, not playing, not watching TV, not playing on tablets or devices. So, wala din pong drinks or food na caffeine containing late in the afternoon or in the evening. Wala din pong big meals right before bedtime. We should try relaxing activities in the evening to wind down. So, tulad ng warm bath or reading, ito po, mga good habits po yan. So, we keep bedtime activities for our children in the same order para po predictable na po yung tulog nila. So, make sure na short naman at saka enjoyable yung activity. If not, we seek consult for sleep behavioral assessment pagka po yung mga sleep hygiene practices na isinuggest po namin offer no difference. So, most importantly, make sleep a priority. Ngayon po, uso na nakalagay lahat sa to-do list. Ilagay nyo rin po yung pagtulog. But, don't make it the thing that you do only after everything else. Maganda nga po, i-plot nyo muna yung tulog, tapos i-plot nyo all other activities na kailangan nyo accomplish during daytime. Ang lagi ko pong sinasabi, Dok, ano ba ang gamot ng puyat? Tulog po ang gamot ng puyat, hindi po kape. So, there is no substitute for a good night's sleep. If you become sleep deprived, you can eventually make up for lost sleep, but you can't do it in one night. Hindi po lahat mababawi yung sleep debt o yung utang sa pagtulog sa isang gabi. Most of the time, catch up happens gradually over a few nights. And if you have long-term symptoms of sleep deprivation or you suffer from frequent insomnia, it is best to talk to your doctor. In the year 2002 po, a conscious effort was made to gather like-minded physicians from different specialties to consolidate the forces of sleep medicine. So, at present, 83 po kami. We are 83 strong sleep fellows that are also fellows of other medical societies that are able to cater to your sleep needs. So with that, I hope I have dealt with all the objectives we have this morning. Thank you very much for your kind attention.